everybody, and welcome back to Men's Day Out, India's only portal that covers gender stories, but from the other side. Joining with me today is Deepika Narayan Bhardwaj. She's an independent journalist based out of Gurgaon. And she is here to tell us some shocking details about a rape case scam that she is unearthing right now in the city. A 20-year-old girl has filed not one, not two, not three, but 7 rape cases against 7 different men and at 7 different police stations. So Deepika, tell us in brief, how did you come to know about this case? How did you actually link that this is the same girl connected with all 7 different cases?
So Arnaz, as you would be aware, there are a lot of people who keep reaching out to me through various social media platforms, seeking my support and help in if I could do something for them and provide some recourse to them in the battles and the legal difficulties they're facing. So this was just another message of those kinds where this boy reached out to me and his name is Mahesh, and I can take his name because there's no problem. He's the whistleblower in this case, if I may say so. He reached out to me and he said, ma'am, I've been trapped in a marriage, and the woman who has trapped me in this marriage has basically filed 3-4 rape cases against other boys also. I do not have the full details right now, but as a matter of fact, I know that she has filed multiple rape cases. I asked him, where are you based? And he said, Gurgaon. I said, wow, Gurgaon mein aisa ho raha hai. I told him to get connected with me on WhatsApp, and then he reached out to me on WhatsApp. I had a full conversation with him, and then I met him in Gurgaon only. And I was so surprised. He's just a 20-year-old boy, very young boy. He was working in an MNC, and he met this woman through a dating app. So Mahesh ke case mein kya hua tha? Mahesh ke case mein, he met this girl on Happen on 20th of August. By 22nd of August, this woman had made his life already hell, because on 22nd or 23rd, probably they had physical relationship, which was consensual, and it was sort of, could call it like a hookup, which is very common these days in urban spaces especially. And but after that, he just started hounding him, like calling him like 50 times, 60 times. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? You're not talking to some other girl, you're not talking to me. And he was just zapped. What is this happening really? And then she was like, you'll have to get married to me, you'll have to marry me, and you have slept with me and all of that jazz. And he was like, शादी की बात कहाँ से आ गई? मतलब शादी की कोई बात नहीं थी हमारे बीच में. It was you wanted to meet, I met you, you said चलो होटल चलते हैं. Everything was initiated by you. अभी शादी की बात कहाँ से आ गई? But long story short, this woman made his life so much hell that by 24th of August he married her in an Arya Samaj mandir, because she said that she's going to file a rape case on him. She called his dad and said, आपके बेटे ने तो मेरे साथ जाके सेक्स किया है, and ये सब. She's very, very bad language and very, very ill-spoken girl. So she kind of abused his dad and said, I'll file a rape case against him if he's not going to marry me. His father said, you do whatever you want to do, don't drag us into this, and you do whatever you want to do. So everybody advised, when this guy went to the police station, he met the cops and he said that this woman is blackmailing me, that she will file a rape case against me if I don't marry her. And the SHO over there in that police station said, where did you meet this girl? And he said, on a dating app. And he said, then why have you come here? You better go and file an online complaint. So he married that girl, but within 10 days she's control freak. She's a little, I think, she has some mental issues for sure. I'm pretty sure about that, but not those kinds which we can say she's a complete, she has schizophrenia or something like that. She knows what she's doing. She's very smart. So she kept hounding him again, a lot of extremely possessive kind of a thing. And then he was not able to take it, so he wouldn't pick her calls and all of that. So she started fighting with him. Within 10 days, she landed up at the police station again to say that this man has raped her. And the police was aware of all the things that she was doing. And they said, ab to shaadi ho gayi hai, you can't book him for rape. He's your husband now. And then she would beat him up, and they had a lot of fights and stuff. He just packed his bags and he's right now, nobody knows where he's living. But one thing that he definitely did was that he reached out to me. And what he had was, what was really clinching in this case was some cop had written to him all the FIRs that this woman has filed, and there was 7 cases before this guy. Okay, out of which 6 were rape cases and 1 was a cyber complaint. So he had the numbers. After I just needed the numbers. Of course, it is not very easy to pull out FIRs, but then, and everybody was guiding him ki shadi kar le, otherwise tere upar case, rape ka case kar degi. And she was also threatening his friends of, gang rape case. She said she'll file a gang rape case against all of them, his close friends, and whom she found out through Instagram. So she does an entire recce of the people who she traps. She explores their social media profile. She writes to their friends on Instagram. I have several chats of abuses that she has sent to his friends. So he was very scared. He did not know the background until then. Of course, all of this was a shock to him, but he did not know of the background. When after marriage, the fight happened between them. And after that, when she went to file the rape case against this guy in a police station, that's where somebody told him that ये तू कहाँ फंस गया भाई, तुझे पता नहीं है इस लड़की के बारे में, इसने तो हर थाने में केस कर रखे हैं. And he had no clue, and that's why he just completely ran away after that. So he gave me the FI numbers. I pulled out all the FIRs, and the story remains the same, exactly the same. These boys, either we would land from the sky. Like there's one FIR where she says, इस लड़के का नाम क है, मैं इससे बंगला साहिब गुरुद्वारे के बाहर मिली. मतलब कैसे मिली भैया, आपने लिफ्ट ली या मंगला साहिब गुरुद्वारे में कुछ कर रही थी, मतलब सडनली एंड देन सडनली द एफआईआर गाड़ी कम्स, मैं उसके साथ गाड़ी में बैठी और मुझे पता चला कि हमारे परिवार एक दूसरे को पहले से जानते हैं. एंड फिर उसका दोस्त भी था जो मुझसे व्हाट्सएप पे बातें करने लग गया. मतलब एब्सोल्यूट नॉनसेंस एफआईआर. But then unfortunately in India, of course, a woman can write anything. And then she says कि वहां बैठे बैठे इस लड़के क ने उससे शादी का वादा किया और उसके साथ गलत काम किया, और फिर उसके बाद वो अपने वादे से पलट गया और मैं इस लड़के के खिलाफ बहुत सख्त कार्यवाही करना चाहती हूँ. एंड दिस रिमेन्स टू बी द pattern in every FIR. She says, I met this guy either on Instagram, either in some gym, either on Snapchat. And then she says, उसने मुझे शादी का वादा किया, and then उसने मुझे weed पिलाई, joint पिलाया, मतलब it's crazy the kind of things that she writes in this FIR. If somebody was really, if people were really neutral in our system, they would definitely ask her, are you like fooling us around by saying that somebody forcefully gave you a joint? A joint is not something that can be given forcibly. You smoke it, right? Nobody can force you to smoke a cigarette or smoke a joint. But then she says कि मुझे जबरदस्ती ऐसे नशा कराया, and then फिर मेरा फायदा उठाया, all of that jazz. And then she says कि शादी का वादा किया, फिर उसके बाद सेक्स किया, और फिर उसके बाद 2 दिन बाद she goes ahead and files rape complaint. We thought that probably this is the end of her trapping, because now she has gotten married, so she can no more say that somebody gave her a promise of marriage. But 24th October, her 7th rape complaint.
Now, brings me, Deepika, to the role of police in these cases. 6 cases, 7 cases filed against different people. Has there not been a single medical examination of this girl, whether what she's saying, is it true, or it's just the word of the woman which is taken and an FIR is filed? Secondly, also share with us, you met the police personally. You went last week and you took your official complaint to the police, bringing it to their notice that these cases have been registered by the same woman, and you demanded that there needs to be some detailed inquiry into the matter.
When it comes to the police registering FIRs, nowadays, what I see, and especially where they see that the woman is educated and the woman knows about her rights and all of that, they would not say anything. If a woman comes with a rape complaint, they have a very set procedure that there's going to be a female police officer who would take down her complaint. There would be a female counselor from an NGO that would be called. to assist her and to support her. And whatever she writes in a complaint will be converted into an FIR. There is no doubt in that. It's just her statement, and absolutely just her statement. In some of the cases that this woman has filed in Gurgaon, she has blankly refused to undergo any medical test. In some, she may have gone, but I'm not too sure about that. At least in the FIRs, all of that is not written. But in one of the 182, two cases have been proven false by the police. So I read those, sort of statement by the cops as well, that she refused to go for a medical test. And she said, कि मैंने मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग में ये रेप की कंप्लेंट फाइल कर दी थी, तो ये केस जो है हम लोग केस दिस इज नॉट वन व्हिच वाज प्रूवन फॉल्स, इज द फर्स्ट केस व्हिच वाज क्लोज्ड बिकॉज़ शी विथड्रू हर कंप्लेंट एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट जैज हैपेंड. So to answer your first question, no, police does not investigate at all. Whatever woman says is for them the complaint, the FIR, and the sort of, if I may say, the gospel truth. Okay. And their entire focus is to just pack the case with the statements that the woman has made and send it to the court. That happens in 95-98% cases. In some cases, so if I talk statistics wise, approximately 8 to 10% of rape cases are proven false at the police level. So you would say 90% goes to the court. So out of these 8 to 10%, what they do is, in some, they would file false report, section 182 and all of that. And mostly they do not file, but they just close it and file a B report with the court. मैंने बहुत कम केसेस देखे हैं जिसमें इस तरह का पुलिस एक्शन ले. अगर आउटराइट फॉल्स केस भी है, तो भी मैंने उस केस को ट्रायल में जाते हुए देखा है. I've seen people being in jail also. So either probably it could be some monetary exchange that they close these cases, or accept all the evidences by the accused side if he's innocent and do give them a hearing, or probably the case, or probably we have some honest officers who actually follow the real justice in zest and do not allow people to misuse laws like that. And there are absolutely officers like that who, when they see that it's a false case, they would throw the complainant out. So it could be either of the two, but yes, they do not really, largely people do not. And if I share my experience also of meeting one of the officers concerned in one of these cases, this officer said that he has gone to the hotel, he has stayed for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever hours he has stayed with the girl. So what happens within the 4 walls, we are nobody to judge on that. If the woman is saying she's been raped, she's been raped. So that's very clear for us. And I asked this police officer, sir, she's saying that he promised her marriage and then she had sex with him. She's already married. Is that logically possible? Is that practically possible? Is that evidentially possible that a woman who's already been married can be again given a promise of marriage and that she would have sex with somebody? This officer blankly told on my face, हमारे को कानून मत सिखाओ. कानून के हिसाब से हमारे को लड़के को तभी की तभी उठा लेना होता है, ये कानून है, तो हमारे को कानून मत सिखाओ, which is very clear that he was threatening the family, And there, of course, it's a hidden secret on why would somebody do that. But the latest case that has been filed, I'm hoping and I'm assuming, nothing surprises me though now in India. I'm hoping that these are complaints against two brothers, both of the brothers. Until now, it was only the boy who she was implicating, but this time she's implicated the entire family, probably the father and mother also. I'm not too sure about that, but definitely brother has definitely been included in the FIR. I met the commissioner of police and I said, sir, these cases are being filed and what nonsense is happening in Gurgaon, sir? How can one woman file so many cases? The commissioner of police was in extreme hurry, sort of, he probably did not understand the complaint or something. This boy who was forcefully married to her had gone along with me. And he said, कोई केस है क्या इसके ऊपर कोई केस है क्या? He just called up the SHO and said, इसके ऊपर अगर कोई केस कर रही है उसको खत्म करो फटाफट से and all of that, क्योंकि ये इतने सारे झूठे केसेस कर चुकी है. And then I said, sir, I've not come for his case. उसके ऊपर कोई केस नहीं है. Sir, I've come to request you to form an SIT or something, to investigate into these matters. And he's like, you're not a victim, right? Then how can you make this complaint? You're not a victim. You go and meet the ACP. So he directed me to ACP. There's a lady here who's ACP West, I guess. Her name is Poonam Dalal. When I met her, she said, we know everything about this girl. We know all that she's been doing. Said, then what are you doing about it? And she said, well, these guys go and stay with women, that they don't know. They're of course calling it upon them. These were her words. And she said, इनकी कौन सा गलती नहीं है मैडम, ये किसी भी लड़की के साथ होटल में जाके रह लेते हैं. So I think it's very clear in the eyes of police, although I know innumerable cases where the man has not even had sex with a woman who was falsely implicated in rape case. But agar there has been a sexual intercourse between the man and the woman, the amendments in Nirbhaya are very clear about it. It would be presumed that she did not consent. So all of this comes from there, although it was not for the police to presume, and that's what my documentary also talks about, India's Sons, where the advocates who are talking about this aspect, that it was not for police to presume कि भैया इसकी consent नहीं थी. Police is supposed to investigate. Police is supposed to look at the factual accuracies of whatever she's claiming and then gather evidence. But what police does is they consider a man rapist from the first go, and they treat a complaint as if the woman has actually been raped, and that's how things are. So this ACP said, well, madam, if you can bring me an evidence that she demanded money from somebody, and if you have that as recording or something, you bring it to me, and then we will take some action against the girl. And I said, ma'am, for these multiple cases, true proven false does not prove anything. She said, आप extortion का अगर पर्चा करवाना चाहते हैं तो आप उसकी ऐसी recording लेकर आइए. And then she gave me 1 week to do that.
Right.
Actually, Arnaz, the problem in this case also is that these families are extremely scared. Mm-hmm. This woman has got 2 police officers suspended, and she opens her mouth like anything in front of judges also. There are judges who have denied bail to the accused, despite so much of background into this case, because she said, आपने अगर इसको bail दे दी, मैं एक rape victim हूँ, अगर आपने इसको bail दे दी, तो मैं आपकी higher court में जो है complaint करूँगी कि आप एक rape victim को सुन नहीं रहे हैं और एक rapist को. She talks like that.
Deepika,
she's very confident.
What is shocking is she's only a 20-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And yes, the way you are describing her, I mean, it seems like she's a very mature girl. She knows the laws in and out. She's threatening the system. She's threatening the people who are responsible for law and order. I mean, how is it possible? I mean, does she have backing of somebody, backing of her family members? How does she get so much courage at this age?
I think she's been doing it for a very long time. It's just that now she has taken to a point where she's absolutely not afraid of anybody. But I'm sure she's been doing this for quite a long time, and now she's come to FIRs after just getting her way by threats of threatening people. I think it's the law that has strengthened her, because her first complaint, it's in her first FIR, she said, मैंने misunderstanding में rape की complaint file कर दी थी. If the law was fair, she should have been given some sort of punishment then and there for making a mockery out of something as serious as rape, right? But it did not happen. Then she filed a second FIR. Then she filed a third FIR. It's September, it's October, it's November, it's December, it's March, it's April, then it's August. So that's so it's just a gap of 1.5 months in different police stations. I think it's the law that's strengthened her nonsense, if I may say so. It's the attitude of the police that has strengthened her, because if they cannot see that this is something so weird and absolute abuse of law, then I don't think what will make them. What's really unfortunate also in this case is that in one of the accused bail, he moved the High Court and got the bail from the High Court. High Court asked the commissioner of, ये क्या हो रखा है? this accused is telling the counsel for the accused is telling us कि इसने इतने सारे cases file कर रखे हैं. So the Commissioner of Police gives a status report to the Punjab and Haryana High Court. The judge takes it on record कि इस लड़की ने 7 rape की complaint file कर रखी है जिसमें 3 झूठी पाई गई हैं. And still the judge does not do anything. The judge has all the powers to take cognizance of this, order something, appoint a committee or do whatever they want to do. I mean, we see High Court judges taking cognizance of matter all the time and doing, they have a lot of powers, but the judge did not do so.
Now, yesterday we had a breakthrough and a kind of ray of hope, with the Haryana State Commission for Women chairperson actually issuing an official letter to the Commissioner of Police in Haryana, asking him to form an SIT to look into the matter in detail. Now, a lot of people, have responded or reacted saying that, yes, this is a good step. The letter had also been worded very, very well by Ms. Preeti Bhardwaj Dalal, who is the chairperson.
She's just sent me a press note. There has been a press note that has gone out from the State Women Commission. She's just sent it to me. So I think she's taking it very seriously.
Right.
Yeah. So a
lot of people reacted saying that, this is a very, very positive step, especially coming from the Women Commission. We don't have too many hopes from the Women Commission taking the cognizance into these cases. But the end result remains that whether, even if it is proven that, yes, this lady has been filing false rape cases, will there be any serious action at the end of the day?
Well, I am very hopeful. She has actually committed a huge blunder now by registering the last complaint. Until before August, she was not married, and she could actually say that the person promised her marriage. But today, her official status is of a married woman. So now, if she's saying that some 23, 24-year-old boy promised to marry her, then basically it's a very, very clear case of cheating, fraud, criminal conspiracy, and there are various sections that actually can be slapped on her now. It's all about who finally bells the cat. And I'm hopeful that with this intervention of State Women Commission, I think the DGP Haryana, if the DGP Haryana wahan se agar aa jayegi, I think it just has to be one order from the DGP Haryana's office to the Commissioner of Police, and I think they will not spare her then. Each and every allegation of her has to be disproved in all the rape cases that she has filed. The latest one would be very easy to be done.
Before we end, Deepika, this brings me to a very important question, and that is Supreme Court guidelines say you cannot reveal the identity of a rape victim or a rape survivor. But when these cases are blatantly proven to be false and there are no repercussions, there is no conviction for a false accuser, the identity is also concealed, and therefore, it just gives them courage to go on filing these multiple cases. Now, don't you think in these cases, there should be some sort of an alert, some sort of, people should be made aware of, such people that, oh, in this city, this woman is already habitual to doing this. So probably there is an eighth man doesn't fall prey to her tactics. What is your take on this?
Well, I can't express myself right now. I have been feeling so enraged inside of me. I actually want to go out and tell her name to the world and show her photo to the world so that I can, save some man from being trapped from this woman. But unfortunately, and I'm okay to go to jail also for that. But I think that would be wo josh mein hosh khone wali baat ho jati hai. But I will ensure, I think let's go the lawful way. Once there is an FIR under various sections registered on her, I am sure nobody will mind revealing her name, her photo and everything. If not anybody else, I would do that. Because then she would be a criminal. Then she would no longer be a rape victim. I'm not too sure even now if her name or photo cannot be revealed because there are two 182 cases already, lodged against her. But still, I have been advised not to reveal her identity because there are other rape cases that are pending. This is actually very wrong. I think this is enabling false accusers. This is enabling criminals. This is protecting criminals. It's just because of their gender, and I think the courts should definitely look into this matter. I mean, this is very wrong.
Sure. Any closing comments on this or otherwise on false rape cases? Because you have actually, and we are all eagerly waiting for your next documentary, which is India's Sons, which focuses largely on the menace of false rape cases. So any closing comments before we end this?
I just will tell people that it is extremely difficult to bring out these voices. So it's my humble request to people to share such videos, to share such interviews, to share these cases and whatever we are doing to bring these kind of cases outside. Because trust me, this is, you may think that this is anecdotal, this is one or two cases, but this is happening on a very, very large scale. People don't come out, people don't talk because everybody is extremely scared to have their reputation sullied. So whatever cases there are that are coming out, I think should share, especially the families of young men, because if they get trapped into something like this, it is quite a hell out there. So as much awareness that we can spread, as much we can tell young boys to be very cautious of quick dating, of trusting somebody who you have just met in a day or two. It's not to say that all women are bad, not all women are bad, not all men are bad, but there are a lot of men and a lot of women who are extremely, extremely criminal. If you're being blackmailed, if you're being extorted through this manner, please do reach out to activists, please do reach out to people who can help you out and expose such false accusers and criminal women. So please reach out and seek help rather than giving it to the blackmail and extortion tactics like that.
Right. So it will be wise to conclude that men should speak up now rather than being trapped and then later trending gender bias laws on social media. So on that note, thank you very much, Deepika, for taking this initiative and also otherwise in your fight towards this cause at a macro level. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Renaz. Bye-bye. Bye.